This is Virtual DJ 2021, the latest version of the world's most popular DJ software. Virtual DJ makes the bold claim that not only can it separate stems and parts from existing stereo tracks that are fully mixed down, you can do it in real time right there in your DJ software. You can even fade these different parts in and out like controlling a mixing desk in a studio, lowering the vocal only or bringing down the kick, muting the bass line or just the instruments. Being able to isolate any major part of not only your own music library, but the millions of tracks opened up by streaming from SoundCloud, Deezer and Beatport Link has huge implications for how DJs perform and what's creatively possible in the booth. But does it actually work? Let's take a look. Isolating stems in Virtual DJ can be done in 3 different ways. Clicking the arrow beside the usual low, mid and high 3-band EQ knobs gives you a drop-down menu with the options Frequency, which is the traditional 3-band option, Easy Remix, which changes the knobs to control vocal, instrument and beat, and Modern EQ, which changes the knobs to hi-hat, melody and vocals, and kick. Tweaking each of these knobs adjusts the volume level of that stem. Increase it all the way to the right and it solos the kick, for example, all the way to the left and it mutes it. Alternatively, you can also use the performance pads to mute and solo 5 different stems: kick, instrument, vocal, hi-hat and bass. Clicking on a pad mutes that stem, or control clicking will solo it. As you can hear, the results aren't perfect, but they're definitely impressive. Things that have a more defined frequency range like kicks and bass lines sound much better than stems that occupy a wider range of frequencies and overlap more with different stems, like instruments and vocals. Even still, the vocal removal and soloing is very usable, especially when mixed with another track in another deck. Artifacts definitely creep in, and that's to be expected for now. Perhaps the AI will improve in the future. But there are some ways around it. Virtual DJ introduced a bleed function from 0 to 100%, which dictates how much of the stem will leak into the mix. Bleed lets you reintroduce part of the sound to let you tweak the separation. Inevitably, some sibilance will return when using vocals, but it's usually acceptable compared to a heavily filtered sound. Again, it depends on the track. There are some other ways to tweak the sound and make it more usable once it's isolated. If you use the performance pads rather than the EQ section to isolate your stems, you can change your EQ section back to a standard low, mid and high, and use it to shape your stems, dialing in some lost highs, for example. You can also use effects like reverb on vocals to try and mask the artifacts, or even use a phaser or flanger effect, which mimics the phasing effect that's sometimes introduced by Virtual DJ, to make it sound intentional. This works especially well on acapellas. Don't you wanna save me? Another feature that already existed in Virtual DJ that makes stem separation even more exciting is the ability to stream millions of tracks via Beatport Link, Deezer, SoundCloud and more. If you wanted to drop a commercial vocal over a dubby or house or techno beat, you can instantly search for the tracks in Deezer or SoundCloud, and after a quick analysis, those tracks can also have their stems separated. It means if you can think of a track you'd like to have an acapella or instrumental of, you can pretty much have it loaded in a deck within 30 seconds. Something of a holy grail for turntablists or commercial DJs. And the sun begins to fade. It's enough time to figure out how to chase my blues away. I know right up till now, it's the light of day. How you go about using the new stem functionality is up to you. It can be as simple as putting an acapella over an instrumental to create a mashup, scratching an acapella over a beat for turntablists, or techno DJs blending individual stems across 4 different tracks, one in each deck. It's also very easy to record straight out of Virtual DJ once the stem is isolated, so sampling individual parts is now easier than ever, although you'll have to follow the usual copyright laws. The best news is Virtual DJ 2021 is completely free for basic use. That means you can access the stem separation for free right now. If you want to add a controller and other features, there are various price tiers starting at $49. As the sonics continue to improve, the rabbit hole of what's possible will continue to grow deeper, until we simply consider real-time and total stem isolation the norm. For now, it's still hugely impressive, and best of all, it's free.